Peter Michaels.
Patrick Bateman. What?
It's the road the stage.
Oh, it is the road the stage. It's right there for those not watching on the YouTube.
Yes, that's us, the road the stage. What's going on?
I'm tired.
Yeah, you got a big week.
I might yawn a little bit through this. We had construction in our neighborhood that started this morning at 6 a.m. Who decides that's a good idea? Well,
that would be the city of Red Deer, right?
That would be the city of Red Deer. And they're doing storm sewer. So they had like the jackhammers out there and these great big backhoes that were I felt like my house was going to fall apart. Mm-hmm. Like everything is just shaking. I had to push like glassware all back on shelves.
Right. Entire walls.
Everything's just
that
rattling and
extension
shaking
you
around.
did shoddily 5 years ago.
It's about to... I want to yell out at these guys. I don't know what I'm doing, people. Any little vibration and this whole thing... and I did want to go and yell at them because it was very early in the morning and I get cranky pretty easily at this old age. But I walked outside. I actually went to walk my dog, who is joining us in the studio today. And lo and behold, they had a trailer down the street for the construction crew that had a Go Services porta potty.
And you had to go.
On top, and I had to go, and Buster used it as well, dog trained. No, it was just, I was happy because, of course, we just started a new partnership with Go Services.
We did.
So seeing their equipment in use put a smile on my face.
And a lot of happy construction workers knowing that they had a reliable
It did actually cross my mind. Like, they're there for a good chunk of the day. I'm like, is one of these people going to come and knock on my door and say, hey, can I use the...
Well, I mean, I don't know what it was like for you in, like, going to music festivals or concerts in the 80s or 90s, but I know that, porta potties at a music festival 2 or 3 years ago, much nicer than they would have been 20 years ago, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
Like, much nicer.
Very nice. They keep them in good shape. So, yeah, Go Services has those lined up. They help out the construction people. They've got waste bins if you're doing work around the house. Shoddy construction stuff like I am, tearing things apart. They've got the waste bins that'll take care of all of that.
So shout out to Go Services, Inc., as well as Tourism Red Deer.
And Sawback Brewery, who you'll notice in this episode, we're drinking a collaboration they did with Beau's Bar and Stage, another one of our partners, a citrus sour, which normally I don't get into the sours
me
so
neither.
much you either, but this one's got a nice little bit of lime to it.
It was a nice beverage to enjoy while interviewing the band we have on today, which we'll talk about it with them, but wasn't totally familiar with. The only thing I do know about the Dead South, hint, hint, is that they have had some pretty infamous shows in Red Deer.
Yes, and we will get into some details of early shows for sure. Very memorable with stuff that happened off the stage and not necessarily on the stage.
So it was nice for me over the last week or week and a half to delve into their library. A lot of songs and tunes that I would not have really known otherwise.
Great storytelling, which we'll get into with those guys.
No kidding. Is there anything specifically you've been listening to lately?
Well, I did. We actually listened to In Hell I'll Be in Good Company this week around the house as we were getting ready for this.
A Dead South song.
A Dead South song.
The biggest one, right?
It's the biggest one. So, and my daughter was unfamiliar with it, but she heard the song one time, and for days after, off of one listen, she was humming that song.
Right.
For at least 3 days.
Right. Well, there you go. That's
so
a good
that
sign.
One's been played a lot in our house as well. And then, we had the Roadhammers on last week. Again, we talked a lot of country music and a lot of country music history. So there's some stuff I just hadn't listened to in a long time. So we talked about the story of Waylon Jennings recording in Nashville and throwing a bag of cocaine.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So that the story of that gets told in the song. Don't you think this outlaw bit's done got out of hand?
And you've been going down a bit of a country hole, or what?
Listening to a lot of that, but there is also James Hetfield did a cover of that. CMT did a like worlds collide kind of genres collide kind of series for a little while.
Is this new or old?
No, this is quite a ways back. Like I know they'd put Kelly Clarkson and Reba McEntire together. Anyways, they had James Hetfield come out and do Don't You Think This Outlaw Bit's Done Gone Out of Hand?
I'm gonna have to check it out.
It shreds.
Interesting. So I didn't know he was that kind of music fan.
But that's the thing. Again, you go back and listen to some of that country stuff. It translates really well because they were, all kind of outlaws.
So you're doing country music, you're doing the Dead South. Anything else?
No, actually, other than that, it's been pretty quiet.
You're going summer music.
I think so.
Rootsy summer music.
Campfire kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What about you? You're always on the lookout for something new.
More so lately, obviously, but various things. I'm looking through my list of things I've highlighted. The new White Horse, you check that out?
Yes.
Really cool.
I love it. Absolutely.
What would you say what kind of vibe would you say they're going for?
It's hard to, because they have a little bit of that like 60s
little psychedelic
kind of psychedelic thing going on for sure.
And
yeah. It's hard to pinpoint just one thing.
Sounded great.
Very, very retro feel to it. And just the two of them work.
And you've seen them before, right?
Yeah, they were one of the last shows that came through Red Deer before the pandemic. They played in January of 2020, an acoustic show.
Right.
And I mean, they're married, so obviously they have some pretty good chemistry with one another. But they are absolutely phenomenal. And I think they've got 2 albums that they're putting out this year. One's already out, and I think there's another one on the way right away too.
Maybe we should try to talk to them pretty soon.
I think so.
So that new White Horse song is sweet. I may have listened to the new Tyler the Creator song about 100 times. Kings of Convenience, did you ever listen to them back in like the 90s?
No.
It's like a folky duo from somewhere in Europe. Really cool stuff. They just put out a song or an album, but they have a song with Feist.
Oh.
Which I know you were watching that Feist Tragically Hip thing
a
few weeks ago. And then a couple Toronto area bands, Pony, which I think they describe themselves as like grunge pop, which I think is a pretty accurate label. And then Mother Tongues, which is really, really cool, very psychedelic, groovy shit. A lot of fun.
So there will be new music coming from our guests today. We actually are talking to the Dead South as they are in Kelowna, in the studio recording.
Which we don't, have you done that much in your radio career, talk to bands while they're in the studio?
Not while they're in the studio, no. It's usually, the recording's long since done, and they're doing press for it because it takes, a pretty good chunk of time between the actual recording and release.
Yeah, I can only imagine that could be a stressful time for bands, especially because they're living together, right?
Yeah.
This whole week they're staying together for the most part at an Airbnb. If things aren't going your way in a tight period of time that you've put down a lot of money on, to work with someone that might not always be available at all points of the year, I can imagine it would be stressful, but they didn't give me that vibe at all. So
at the same time, a lot of fun because you're creating, right?
Totally.
And for the most part, these songs are all usually pretty much together and ready to go.
They gave us some insight into some of the tips, tools, tricks, if you might, about recording, what might loosen you up a little bit.
All right, I am ready to hear from the Dead South.
Well, speaking of professionals, you guys have been in the studio all week, I understand.
Yeah.
Out in Kelowna?
That's right.
Is this your usual spot to go record new music?
No, actually, Scott just had a baby, so we came to him.
Oh, wow. Very cool. Congrats.
Scott lives out here, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
How old?
He's like 6 months as of yesterday.
Are we kind of going to try to get some baby sounds incorporated into the album here somewhere?
Oh,
Just poops.
Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea.
So is this your house, Scott?
No, this is an Airbnb the guys are staying
Very
at.
cool. That sounds like a nice time in Kelowna. And then what's the deal? You guys you're done with your studio time? It's all finished?
Got one more day tomorrow.
Okay.
Then we're done.
And how's that feeling? Like the eve before the last day, are you guys like feeling confident about the last few days and what you've got left for tomorrow?
Pretty good. Yeah, we're probably going to have to come back at some point and finish it up. But we got quite a bit done this week, so I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah, the songs have really come a long way and learned a lot throughout the whole process as well. So we know what needs to get done to wrap it all up.
So are we getting the inside scoop here? Is this like new album, EP, single? What are we doing?
Yeah, we're kind of doing 2 EPs. So during COVID, we all bought our own recording equipment, just kind of, bare bones stuff. And we got Pro Tools. So we decided to do 6 kind of traditional / bluegrass songs. And some we stuck pretty true. And then we would kind of turn the others in our own way. That's 6 songs. And now we're doing another one, which is a covers EP, but more of like punk rock and other fun songs.
Oh, okay. I'm
yeah, so it's all covers. It'll be fun. Never done anything like it before. A 2-part project. Yeah.
Are you willing to reveal what any of those covers might be?
Absolutely not. Yeah, let's wait. No, it's not that we don't want to. It's just we want you to be surprised when you hear it. You're like, oh, fuck, what is this?
Yeah, we haven't gotten the mixes back, so we might hate one.
Decide to
What if it's not on there?
scrap it. Okay, so can we just like, I've never met the Dead South before. Can I get some a name call? Is that all right? Is that appropriate? We've never done that on the road the stage, so.
Sure, let's start over there.
All right, I'm
Danny, what's up?
Scott.
Nate.
Nate.
Yeah, I'm
Colton. All right, nice to meet you guys. I'm Patrick. Peter Michaels. You've met these guys before, right?
You know what? I've talked to Nate before, but the rest of you guys, I mean, I've seen you guys a few times at Bose. But Nate, you did, Brennan suckered you into doing a little performance at his at the Bose virtual Christmas party this year. So
That's right, yeah.
I had hosted on that a little bit. Everybody's got drinks to crack over there? I see there's a couple of beers on the.
I don't count.
We need to take a pause. No, we've got everything rolling. Let's keep things.
It's happening.
Things going. On the subject of doing the covers album, this is something I was kind of curious to ask you guys about. Sturgill Simpson just went through and did a couple of albums where he took some of his originals and turned them into bluegrass songs. Would it work and go the other way and take some more bluegrass songs and turn them into rock and roll songs, or do a different take with them? Is that kind of in the vein of what you guys are doing a little bit?
Take bluegrass songs and go rock? Is that what you said?
Yeah, like go electric, go heavy,
go
go punk, go metal, whatever direction you want.
Is that possible? Yes.
Oh,
I don't know if it's something we would ever do.
Does that mean you don't know if it would be a good thing, or you just don't want to do it?
We wouldn't do it under the Dead South.
Yeah.
Because the Dead South.
Yeah, we want to avoid going Mumford and Sons where they start incorporating guitars and drum kits and stuff, electric guitars and drum kits. We kind of want to stay away from that.
Go start another band though too.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
Yeah, that's a good point. I often think about how Mumford went so far in the other direction and then just kind of stuck with it, apparently. I don't know. Maybe they'll come back someday. Who knows?
So touring is going to start. I think you guys got your first show booked for September 11th.
I believe so,
can we expect something out of these recording sessions to be released by then? Is that kind of the hope?
A little later, I think.
October.
I think the first one, is scheduled for October.
Yeah, and it's going to be that far behind because apparently a lot of the pressing plants and stuff are so backed up right now. So you have to, normally we could say, hey, we're done a couple weeks ago. This should be out or like ready to go in a month and a half, 2 months. But it's now like 5 months down the road. So.
Jeez.
Okay, so we know Scott's been busy having a baby through the pandemic. Nate, I think I read that you were playing some baseball last summer, playing some hardball.
I was playing some fastball, yeah.
And how is that through? What league is that? It's in through Saskatchewan.
Yeah, that's a small minor league out in Wadena is where I was playing. The Rosebud Royals is who I was playing for.
Is this like some classic Bull Durham style baseball going on?
Yeah, this is windmill style though, so they're a lot closer, and the balls they drop you pretty good.
And
some of those old dogs throw pretty wild.
Colton, what were you up to over the pandemic?
I did a lot of stuff actually. I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so I started teaching once a week and training a lot before our gym got closed down for COVID. I got my brown belt in Jiu-Jitsu in November, I think. And then I started making video games, which has been a fun little creative project. So I'm trying to keep myself busy with those two things, and then just kind of enjoying the time at home and spending I got engaged too, so spending lots of time with my fiance. And
congrats.
What kind of video games are you making?
all kinds. One I made is just like a little puzzle. One that's like somewhat completed is just like a little puzzle, like a 2D puzzle exploration kind of game.
Yeah, it's problem solving. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Made it pretty far in that one, I think.
Yeah, you almost finished it.
Almost finish it? Cool.
Yeah, I think you've made it furthest so far.
Do you track everyone? Can you track and see who everyone's playing?
No, I can't.
Yeah, I got to get back on that. I haven't played it since we were talking that one day.
Yeah.
It was sick.
Thanks, man.
It was really challenging.
Thanks.
Do you watch that Mythic Quest TV show? But
No.
Video game company. That's a good one. Charlie Day and Rob McElhaney behind that.
Charlie Day.
Oh, okay. So what's it called?
Mythic Quest. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's an Apple Plus show though, so you got to be, isn't it like?
It is an Apple Plus. So there's other ways to find those shows though.
What?
I could
Tell us how. Tell us
Check it out.
how.
On the jiu-jitsu side of things, before we kind of got everything hooked up, I heard you guys talking about broken tibias and fibias. Was there?
Yeah, we heard some of that jujitsu talk.
Did you take the break or did you hand out the break?
Neither. We were just talking about the potential for nasty breaks.
Yeah.
So with touring coming up, then do you kind of got to ease up on that a little bit? You don't want to risk the injury before you guys head out on the road.
No, I train on the road and everything. Yeah. It's pretty. If you're smart and like I've been training for a long time, and it's pretty low risk. Yeah, I'm not too worried about it.
So with you training on the road and again that tour in September seems like a massive one. You guys have been doing this for a number of years. Are you doing your own things all throughout tour? Are there many group activities during the days?
A little bit of both. I'd say. Like I like to go rock climbing. Nate will often join me. Colton does jujitsu. Danny enjoys going for runs, and then we also get together and do things together. Go visit museums, go for drinks, go for food. Go for walks, go hang out in the park, whatever it is. Yeah.
So you do get a little bit of a chance to explore, or you try to explore when you get into some of these cities.
Yeah. So basically, what happened is over the years. Thankfully now we started taking a tour bus for the last couple of years, and it drives overnight and usually arrives in the city around 9 or 10 a.m. So if you're up, you have a chance to go walk around, have some breakfast. By 1 p.m. our crew starts setting up. By 3 p.m., 4 p.m. we're having sound check. So you have that window there, and then after sound check until you play, you have a window to go do some stuff, and then hopefully if your show finishes early enough, or if it's a late enough city, you can go experience some nightlife.
So I'm curious to know the mindset, and I'm going to play a couple of cities here and see if the mindset changes at all. But let's say you're traveling the I-84 through Idaho and you're getting ready for a show in Garden City. What's going on in the tour bus? What are you guys thinking about going into Garden City, Idaho?
Garden City was sweet.
Yeah, we had no idea what we're getting into.
Yeah. Garden City was fun last time we played that. That was the big venue with the weights and the pool table and everything in the green room.
Yeah,
remember?
Yeah, that was fun.
A good show. Yeah,
yeah,
really good show.
I just need something like that to remind me.
Yeah, it's funny. Like you see, so it's like I find that I remember. Like I go to jiu-jitsu gyms. I'll typically remember the gym. I'll remember the venue. But in terms of the city itself, I have a hard time remembering.
Yeah, I need something to associate it with.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you mentioned the green room, I was, oh yeah, that's the guy, and then it all came back.
Yeah. I started writing it down, just like 2 or 3 sentences per city.
That's smart.
In a journal, and it's weird how it all just comes back.
So just 2-3 sentences, it gives you a whole day.
Yeah.
Without that like thing, sometimes the days just go.
So just getting back to your question, like what are you thinking going into a city? That's changed a lot, because back in the day we would drive ourselves everywhere. That's where you'd get more of the amped up, like we're coming into Idaho, or like coming around the corner, also Philadelphia's there, and you're like, you made it.
And it was always like in the morning, you're waking up all haggard from a late night and trying to make it in time for the sound check the next day, ripping into town.
So you get different feels. Now you go to bed in Denver and you wake up in Louisiana, and you don't really get that buildup. Also, you just wake up, you're like, I got to shit. Where am I?
And you can't do it at the bus.
I was just going to say, is that the rule on the bus? No shits on the bus. Yeah.
No shits on the bus.
Every morning it's a mad dash to try and find.
That was disappointing when we found out that rule.
Yeah, that was disappointing.
Yeah.
So is it different than, say, let's put you into the mindset of you've got a show in San Francisco at the Fillmore, and you're an hour and a half outside of the Bay Area? Does the prestige of the venue or the size of the city play a role in how you guys are kind of getting set up for things?
A little bit. I mean, in ampness. In terms of being really excited for it, you get excited about going to a city you've never been to, or the city itself, or you hear that it's a prestigious venue, then you get also amped as well. The Fillmore is a funny one in San Francisco, because we broke down, or that's when we were in Nevada, and we got Reno
broke down.
and we got snowed in.
Right.
So then we had to rent a van and chain up, and then rip there with minimal equipment. And we're playing this insane venue that we've heard all about, and then we're just bare bones. We're showing up as the open band's finishing up kind of thing. Yeah.
We got there just barely on time, and no equipment, just instruments and cables basically. Just plugged in and went.
And was that the first time that you guys had played the Fillmore? Wow.
Yeah, you're not going to miss that.
No.
Happened in Boston too, at the House of Blues.
Yeah.
Our bus broke down a couple hours away. Our tour manager wrangled everything together. We got there kind of just time with meat and bones.
Are there any of those spots on this upcoming tour to kind of wrap up 2021 that you're most looking forward to, maybe that you haven't been to before?
In terms of what we haven't been to before, I'm not too sure.
We've played Austin, but only South by.
Right.
Really excited to play.
That's going to be awesome.
Play Austin outside of South by, where the city's not just in shambles.
Right.
Mhm.
We're playing.
What else are we doing? We're playing some awesome places.
Oh, we're playing the Caverns.
Oh, right.
The Caverns in Pelham, Tennessee. That's going to be. Honestly, we're excited for that.
It's going to be good. It's going to be a good tour. It's fun because now we're starting to hit like cities and venues that we've played in previous tours. So there's a little bit of like familiarity with touring now, which is kind of cool. I like that a lot.
Maybe gives you a chance to appreciate the scenery a bit more than the first time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And what kind of planning do you do for the jiu-jitsu places? Like you just kind of Google.
Yeah, what is this community like? You guys just you're already engaged online. They know you're coming to town.
Yeah, I usually I'll Google a gym near the venue and send them an email a week or two in advance, and the jiu-jitsu community is really good. Like most gyms really like having visitors, so it's easy to just drop in and train anywhere. So it's awesome. I really like training on the road. It's been really good for my development and met some awesome people. And yeah, it's like one of those things that when I think of the gym, it kind of reminds me of the whole day. The gym and the venue are kind of the two things in each city that I remember. So, yeah.
And with all the different venues that you guys play, and you can tell that, you've got little triggers for all of them. Is that the reason when you guys released the live album that you chose to go with a song from a different city as opposed to just capturing one show?
Yeah, the idea there was wanted to kind of make a how do I put it? Just sort of like
Engage the audience more.
Yeah, we wanted to engage the audience, and we wanted it to be not just like, I mean, it sounds like one show all the way through when you're listening to it, but we wanted it to be like a snapshot of like our tour that kind of got cut short. So the whole Serve Cold tour is kind of what we're trying to showcase on the live album, and not so much just one specific concert. So
yeah, like even you see the recap video that comes out, the fan made video, and it's got shows from all over the place and everything too.
One of the things we've seen come out of the pandemic as well with some of the music that's been released so far, and you guys already have Crawdaddy Serve Cold, which is kind of about life on the road, but we're seeing a ton of songs that people are releasing that are about life on the road. So have you guys kind of been reminiscing about things, and has that affected the writing at all?
Definitely been reminiscing, especially since it's been such a long time since. Is that affecting writing? I don't know. Because, I mean, Crawdaddy was also, writing about the departure of Colton and stuff like that. And then, kind of things that led to that in my perspective kind of thing. And just how dirty it can be and gross. You don't get to sleep and, it's just exhausting. It's not the glamour that everyone thinks it is, for sure.
It's very unglamorous. Yeah.
Well, then let's get into the nitty gritty of that. And let's go back to the van days. If the van's starting to stink, who's the first one that is causing that stench?
Probably Scott.
Depends, is it the morning or the night?
That's the same. Come on. Yeah, probably Scotty. I mean, we all take our turns ribbon, and stuff, but like.
And there's a picture you guys had posted with the van a couple of days ago or a little while ago, and I think it's Scotty. You've got is that a Minions pillow that you carry with you on the road?
Oh yeah, Nate's dad.
Yeah,
a whole bunch of Minions blankets and pillows and what you need.
Room in the van.
What else you got? Just tons of stuff.
I'm gonna say that's probably the last thing I expected to see in the Dead South van was a
Minion squad,
clutching
man.
a Minions
Minion
pillow.
squad.
Yeah, you want to play it cool, but like my dad put it all in. I'm like, Dad, get that out of here. Yeah, no, he had some funny obsession with the Minions. He thought they were hilarious. So then my mom was like, just annoyed of him always talking about it. So she started buying him Minion shit, and he just pawned it off into the van.
I'm going to need your dad's number, and we're going to hook up for a Minion podcast because I got the same way with those fucking things. McDonald's had these little toys that came in the Happy Meals that made, and I drove my family nuts.
You got a Minions lunchbox.
I do have a Minions lunchbox.
I don't know if I just outed you, but
yeah, you outed me too. Sorry.
With the touring, because I was reading that you guys have kind of, after your experiences and your years of being on the road, for the sake of your mental health, physical health, whatever it might be, you decided to kind of schedule your tours a bit differently. Is that something that you've actually been able to do yet, or is that something that you have been? Okay. So going forward, you're already in that, I believe it was like a 3 weeks on, a few weeks off kind of schedule.
Yeah. And that was really hard to do because we were such yes men forever.
Right.
Anything that came our way, we're like, yeah, we'd love to play it, no matter what it is. And that was for our own, it was for the growth of the band, but also for growth as musicians. Like if you listen from day one to, day 1,000, we played almost 1,000 days in that time because we were just saying yes to everything all the time. And it made us so much better and tighter. And it hurt though. It hurt.
Yeah, we can kind of, we're in a lucky position now where we can kind of pick and choose a little bit more. We don't have to say yes to every single thing. So it's good. It's nice to be able to take control of our mental and physical well-being a little bit. And like Scott's got a new baby now, and like I'm engaged, and it's nice to have, like, we all have families and lives outside of this project, and it's nice to be able to have some time to do all that other stuff as well. It's really, really important, I think, because it puts everything in perspective and makes you more excited to go on the road. When you're just constantly on the road, it's just like, it starts to, like, the novelty wears off pretty quick, and you start to get jaded and kind of cynical about all these experiences you're having. Whereas we really want to enjoy it. And if we're not enjoying it, we don't think the fans are going to enjoy it. We're not going to enjoy each other. We're not going to enjoy ourselves. So
that's
keeping the enjoyment.
It's like a sustainable career doing this,
Yeah, exactly. We got the long game in mind now, so we could go super hard and burn out in 3 years, or we could try and do this for the next decade or a couple decades. So
very strategic.
Kind of have that long range. Yeah.
Well, we had to be. I mean, just to add to that, like we would go in the early days, like way too long. We go a month and a half straight, maybe a little longer. Then you get home, and then the next night you're playing in Estevan. Then the next day you're playing in Slave Lake. Yeah. And then you're doing that, and then Danny goes to work he gets home at 4 a.m. and he goes to work for as many days as he can, and then we're doing it again. It's like, when do you sit down and actually understand? Like we started winning awards, we started, having all these accomplishments, and people are like, how does it feel? And it's like, what?
We're exhausted.
What are you talking
I don't know yet.
What feel?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We haven't had a second to stop and think about it.
Yeah,
exactly. Like, you come home from tour and finally get quiet, and I'd sit on the couch in silence and just tears rolling out of my face. It's like, what's wrong with me?
What just happened?
Who's going to break down first, the van or one of us?
Oh, definitely.
And I imagine it's got to be tough with everybody that you're in a relationship with, because you can't just be on the road for a month and a half and then come home and just switch automatically right back into being the homebody, right?
I'm here.
Yeah, there's always a transition.
So how long would that
transition
transition take?
points are
Like a couple of days, or would it depend on how long you've been gone?
Yeah.
Depends on how rough the tour was, how long we've been gone. But usually a couple of days, I'm starting to feel normal again.
Yeah. A couple of days. But then you also want like, oh, you get 3 weeks of downtime. That's not 3 weeks. I mean, you get a week of trying to normalize. Then you have a week of feeling somewhat normal again. And then you have a week of getting amped up to go again.
Yeah.
In terms of like packing and is everything here? Is everything lined up? What do we got?
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
Yeah. And it usually takes, like, travel delays will take a couple days to get home sometimes. For the first week.
That's always fun. Oh,
yeah, after a long tour and you just can't wait to get home, and then your flight gets canceled or whatever, and you're 2 extra days.
Colton's sick. Just coughing on you.
Just liquids leaking out.
All the liquids.
Yeah.
So you brought.
But we do love this.
Oh yeah,
we do love this.
Yeah. It's awesome.
And Scotty, with a new baby, you've like bodily fluids are nothing anymore after you've had a kid, eh?
Oh no. Oh yeah, we do like we change the sheets and do the laundry every day pretty much these days.
So you brought up the couple of awards that you guys have won. If I asked you right now, where are those Junos? Are they on a shelf somewhere? Are they in a box? Where are those Junos on display at?
You bring them to the studio when you're recording?
Yeah, you got to bring them in a backpack around with you. My parents take my Junos. they take my words. I mean, they deserve it more than I do. They basically put me here and put up with me forever, so they can have them. But mostly they all get shelved.
Yeah,
like
you each get one, right?
We each get one. So yeah. So yeah, mine are on like a little mantelpiece in the living room.
Yeah, same here. On the mantle.
Yeah.
No, it sounds like an appropriate place to put a prestigious award for sure. Somewhere noticeable.
So we're going to go back in time a little bit. Obviously, the Road the Stage podcast is presented by Beau's Bar and Stage in Red Deer. Nate, you've got family here in Red Deer, right?
That's
And
right.
when I was talking to Brennan, he had mentioned that you guys were the very first live band that he ever booked at Beau's.
That's right.
Many, many years ago when things were not quite at the level that they're at now.
Which is crazy because the way we learned that story was basically Brennan admitting to some shortcomings, I think, when he was initially bringing bands through town.
The venue might not have been ready for you that night. I think he said you guys showed up and asked where the sound guy was, and he was like,
What does that
Yeah,
mean?
we asked where the sound guy was and where the sound equipment was. Like, where do we plug in? And he's like, I don't know. I have nothing.
Yeah, that was actually our first out of town show too. I think.
Yeah, that was like our 6th gig ever.
Wow.
Yeah. We were not ready for that,
Yeah.
First out of town gig. Yeah.
but it was fun.
It was so fun.
So the first
How
time you
long?
guys...
When was that?
Oh, that was what, like
It's so
2012?
Whatever, 2020,
2012,
maybe early 2013.
maybe, yeah.
I'll never forget Danny lying on his back on the ground.
Yeah, we were playing.
Some dude was on the ground.
It
It
was-
was playing the djembe. Some random guy. from
No,
the
it
crowd.
was John Davis. He's part of my family. He went and took Danny's stool when Danny stood up for a second. Then Danny went to sit down, but there was no
Oh, yeah.
stool. So Danny's lying down, like Jello on his back, so he doesn't ruin the song.
Yeah, I had my chair pulled out from behind me on the stage.
Yeah.
when someone who came on the stage.
That was you, John. Yeah.
So it was as much of a learning experience for the Dead South as it may have been for Beau's.
But
Oh,
things
yeah.
got better because I believe it was the next time that you were in town, or maybe a couple of shows after, the fire department ended up coming in and the show didn't quite come to a close, is what I was told.
No, this whole show happened. So this was years later because Brendan kept expanding from there. Like the stage was getting better, sound equipment was getting better, and then Brendan decided to put a artist green room, which is amazing. It's so nice to have, but it was just in front of that back door, the fire exit, and just so happened that night the fire department came in, and afterwards they fined him a large sum of money. Yeah.
All right,
You
well,
cleared these with him, right?
I totally, yep. All the boop is fully in a group now, so I don't think it's too big of a, because growing pains, right? You all have little things
Growing
along the way
pains.
that you learn, and I'm sure you guys are probably a little different on stage today than you were almost a decade ago.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, and what do you
Yeah.
remember about the first trip coming out of Saskatchewan? Like, you guys had built up a pretty good following, and then what was it like coming out of Saskatchewan for the first time and playing some Alberta dates and even beyond that?
Well, we didn't even have a follow.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I don't think we even had a following at that point. I think we just had the Nate connection. Was really all it was, right?
Yeah.
This is your family and
So that was Red
that was the
Deer,
connection.
and then from that we got the itch,
Yeah.
and then we're like, let's book our own tour.
Yeah.
So then we did Saskatchewan, Alberta,
Yeah.
just Saskatchewan, Alberta.
Just that month-long ripper in July there. Yeah.
And were those
That
gigs
was-
easy to book? We've talked to a lot of bands that have had to kind of lie, cheat, and steal their way into getting some dates booked. Was it easy to get the
Yeah.
band into some venues?
It wasn't hard. I mean, Colton
Emails,
and
not too
myself
bad, yeah.
ripped off a ton of emails.
Yeah.
Mostly Colton on that one. And
Yeah,
the
we
other-
just emailed a bunch of places. Most places were
yeah, we'll throw you in a
Relatively-
Tuesday afternoon.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think we played the Black Dog in
Black
Edmonton
Dog
in the
in
afternoon
Edmonton.
a few times.
Root
Yeah.
and Lloyd. We
Yeah.
did,
Root and Lloyd.
Remember
Oh,
when
Old
Saskatoon-
Pub.
Old
Saskatoon,
Pub, yeah.
We played
Vangelis.
Vangelis and
Vangelis.
Yeah.
which is now Black Cat Tavern.
Yeah. And then we did that little festival in Edmonton too. Remember
Free
that
festival.
tiny little, the little thing on the street?
Yeah, I
We
remember
played in the
that.
mall in Leduc. We played at Murphy's Pub in
Man, you
Leduc.
guys-
a
Right.
couple times.
Oh yeah,
That's
that
an
one.
incredible memory of
Great
shows
memory.
going way back. That's pretty
Oh,
impressive.
first tour though, that one's that one will
sticks
stand out
with you.
forever.
Yeah, we did that little kitchen or that little cafe in Moose Jaw that I think burned down.
Burnt down like 2 days later. They
Yeah.
never paid us. Yeah.
Yeah, never paid us. That's right.
Then it burnt. Yeah.
Did you ever try to get that money, or you just kind of decided to leave
Well,
it alone?
I don't think so.
I kept asking about it at first and asking around, like, have you guys ever played here? And everyone's like, oh, yeah, you never get paid. And then it burns down. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Is there a big,
Won't chase that.
because you guys mostly from Regina, right? Is that correct?
Yeah,
Prince
I grew up
Albert.
in PA.
Okay. Is there a big like bluegrass scene there that you guys kind of came up with, or were inspired by?
No, not really.
Not really. No, there's a decent like indie music scene, but not really specifically bluegrass.
The bluegrass thing was just mostly a result of the instruments lying around. Like Colton just got a banjo and Nate had a mandolin kicking around, and we had acoustic guitars. Danny had been playing the cello since he was a little kid, and Nate was listening to Trampled by Turtles at the time. So
Yeah, Trampled, Old Crow, and a couple other bands.
just kind of put all those
Double
things
Mix three.
together, and
Double
one
Mix
thing led to another.
And now I think I'd read or heard that some of those influences and bands you got into when you were in Quebec, going to school in Quebec. Is that right? Is that kind of where you discovered some of that stuff?
Yeah. When I was going to school in Quebec, I was hanging out with some friends. I had a friend from Vancouver, Ben Ronald. Hi. Another one from Amherst, Ryan. Hi. And they were just showing me tunes that I'd never heard before. And it was kind of that style. And we just kind of kept, that's actually when I started playing guitar and music again. I was in Quebec because I had not really played for years. These guys liked the music, so we started playing again. And then I came home and then I started playing with Colton, met Colton. We started playing together because of my roommates, his wrestling teammates. And then they left, and then, group with Danny, like, what's Danny doing? He plays cello, let's get him in. And then Scott was also doing singer-songwriter stuff at the time, playing in restaurants and swooning all the moms. And then
Moms
love
that shit.
Scott actually played bass for us one time.
Yeah, first show
Electric
ever.
bass,
Yeah.
I'd never played bass ever. I was
We had
terrible.
drums and electric guitar and electric bass for those first few shows too.
Yeah.
Just fun.
Well, what I love hearing about a story like that is there's absolutely no manufacturing involved whatsoever. You guys just started putting shit together and finding what sounded good, and away it went.
Absolutely. And that's what makes it tough. I'm like, what kind of music do you play? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like we stem from so many different places and we just throw down what sounds good and ideas start flowing and then there's a song.
Mm-hmm.
And do you find as well then when you're looking out at crowds that you can't really pigeonhole a Dead South fan, right? Because it's like from all walks. You get rock guys, country guys, like everybody can get into that stuff. That's one of the things I love about bluegrass style, especially. It doesn't
Very agreeable.
It's very and it's just again, it's so fun, right? Like, how could you not hear music like that and not have a good time?
There's something about it too that I do feel like it's there. In some ways, it's kind of easier to highlight talent. You guys have some incredible, vocal things happening, and I don't know. Like I've been spending quite a bit of time over the last couple weeks with your music, and it's not typically the kind of music that I would spend too much time listening to. And as someone who has not seen the Dead South but has heard many stories about those shows, I'm really eager to get to one of those shows one of these days. Or many of them.
All right.
Nice, man. Yeah.
I am curious about the songwriting process, though, like because there's the storytelling in your songs is amazing. And like, and I chose Fat Little Killer Boy as a quick example, but like, I don't like asking, what comes first, but I do have to ask what came first when it came to Fat Little Killer Boy.
That one's easy. Banjo came first.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that typical?
Banjo riff came. Depends on the song. Like Banjo Odyssey, banjo came first. Fat Little Killer Boy, banjo came first. A lot of the songs Scott sings, just Scott will get kind of the whole song, vocals and guitar, kind of totally done, and then we'll fill it in. Some start with cello, some start with Nate. So it just depends. It's really like a collaborative writing process.
But yeah, like Colton said, it'll either be like a part that'll be written, and then we'll be like, "Ooh, that's a really cool part. Let's build a song around that." Or the song will be written, and then we'll put a whole bunch of parts to the song.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that you end up with like a ton of scraps or concepts and ideas that you don't end up using? Because like it sounds to me like you'd have so many ideas, so many concepts to choose from if you're doing it that way.
Not actually, not so much. There's been a very few scraps.
Yeah. We're usually pretty quick to tell like if we don't like something or something's not going to work, and we'll just scrap it right there and then.
Yeah.
And we'll just like move on to until it feels good. And once it feels good, we'll keep it. And every now and then the song will be what we think is done. We'll take it to the road and play it live a little bit, or we'll record it in the studio and then listen to it for a while, come back and realize, it doesn't feel quite right here, or let's change something there. But for the most part, we're all pretty on board. Like when something sounds good, we like it, and when it doesn't, we're pretty quick to make the changes when you.
So, what's the strangest instrument that somebody has brought to a recording that has wanted to include that the rest of the band was like,
Probably that stupid didgeridoo on the first
No!
album.
I'm so glad.
Colton did play didgeridoo on the first album. For 2 songs.
It's on Into the Valley.
Now when I
It
hear
was
it,
only a
it's like,
matter of time before you asked that question. Like, this is episode, whatever episode this, we were going to hear didgeridoo eventually, I
Yeah.
think.
yeah.
Or what's the instrument where it's like you're basically playing with like a thin string of air? You know what I'm talking about?
Theremin.
Theremin. There we go. Yeah.
Oh.
That'd be cool. I love it.
That would be pretty sweet.
Okay, well, they still got 1 day left in the studio, so
Well, actually,
maybe go search in Kelowna.
for
Oh, what did we play today?
We hit that little weird like
that little
thing. I have no
yeah.
idea.
I don't know
The
that
rattlesnake?
thing, we'll call it.
Yeah.
What is it? He called it the rattlesnake. today.
Is that
Oh,
like
sick.
like Ozzy's Crazy Train has it at the beginning? That
Yes.
Yeah. It's like a little wooden
Yeah.
ball
Yeah.
attached
We
to
use
a
that in a
metal
song
rod
today.
with
Little
another
cowbell
wooden
on the end.
like plate to it.
vibro
Vib-
slap.
produ-
Ryan, our producer
Vibro
Ryan, it's
slap.
a vibro slap.
Thank you,
Do
Ryan.
you have one, Ryan?
Vibro
Can we?
slap.
Oh,
it's broken.
broken.
It's broken.
Never mind.
Broke it. What were you doing with it?
for context, we've been having, we tried to do this interview the other night, and and trying to set up some of the tech with you guys being in Kelowna. You were snapping a lot. There's no chance that was there any snapping being recorded this week in the studio?
Oh, yeah.
Because it was very talented snapping. I will
If we
say.
could,
I think
if we could, Colton, could you just give us a couple of snaps? Because your snaps were.
I'm not the. These guys are the real
let's just cut
snappers.
it there. Let's just cut it there.
Let's all get the snap.
Got some good snaps.
Oh, Nate's got some
Nate's
rattles.
Nate's right.
All right,
It's all
don't
aggressive.
don't hurt yourself.
I had 2 good ones, but I broke my left hand, and now it's just weak.
Patrick and I both work in radio here in Red Deer as well, and I do want to say that we get a lot of promo items from bands quite frequently, but the best promo item we ever received at the radio station was the beef jerky that you guys had
Nice.
about, I guess it's probably about 2 years ago now.
Which this is bullshit
Yeah.
because you
Well,
say
shop
we.
leather
I didn't.
shop.
I didn't see.
So
I
here's
didn't
the
see
deal.
any
You
of
did.
this.
You sent. There was a pouch for me and a pouch for Patrick, and unfortunately, he never got to see his because it was that damn good.
I'm learning about this
Yeah.
now.
Dude. We got more of that in my house sitting there.
Is that a recurring thing? Do you
Never
guys still
run out.
working with that the same company? Is it Meat Chops? Is that what it's?
Yeah, meat chops.
My
So,
cousin had.
Oh.
yeah, it's his cousin.
Yeah.
Wow, that's the best damn jerky I think I've ever had.
Shout out to
I'm not
Meat
even gonna say
Chops.
thank
It's so
you.
good.
Shout out to Meat Chops.
Well, we'll pass that along.
Oh yeah, she'll be happy.
And is there anybody else? You've said hi to a few people now. Is there going to be somebody pissed off if you don't say hi? Like, should we just get a bunch of highs? Does anybody
Well,
have?
we
some-
can say hi to Chelsea because she's meat
Yeah,
chops.
Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Hey Chelsea,
Yeah.
You're out there listening.
you got anyone you want to shout out?
Patrick, how you doing?
I want
How's
to
it
say
going, dude?
shout out Chief in the corner over. He's running our camera. Hey
Yeah.
Chief, yeah,
Our sandwich guy.
sandwich guy.
So what happens now?
And-
You finish up recording, and then you've got kind of a couple months. Do you think you might end up booking some one-off shows previous to the tour starting in September?
Yes,
Okay.
we can't say yes yet, but yes,
Yeah, there might be some. Yeah.
and they're going to be in Alberta.
Oh,
Wow.
all right.
Okay. We'll have to
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying
Well, you
tell Brennan to make sure that he's got everything ready to go this time.
you guys mentioned a venue earlier with a green room, and we've got a pretty killer green room here at the Communal Creative Studios too. So it'd be fun to have you guys in to fool around there.
it'd be cool. I've heard a lot about it and seen some great photos. So yeah, it looks great what you guys did there.
I believe, and you guys was that New Year's Eve show? Was that the last time we had you guys in Red Deer?
I think so. Yeah. 2019 New Year's Eve.
We
Jeez.
I guess turning 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, turning
and
2020.
since we missed a New Year's Eve, I mean, there's
Got
no
a-
reason we
yeah.
can't have a New Year's party in July, right?
We've got a lot to make up for.
and Christmas, whatever. Let's have it all.
I got to ask Danny about the hat. How are you doing?
Yeah, you're still.
Oh, okay, I know.
Hey, I'm glad you're wearing it, man. Own it, wear it, support the team.
Yeah, we didn't have enough time to shower and stuff, so my hair is like a big afro right now. So I had to toss on.
I had to throw on the Jets.
So is that hat just there because it was the hat that was laying around, or are you a deep, passionate Jets fan?
I like Winnipeg.
Okay.
I like
Okay,
Winnipeg
that's
a lot.
fair. That's
Well, as a Leafs fan, I got to thank the Jets and their fan base for lightening the load over the last few weeks. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. We were also, again, going back to us trying to do setup the other night. You guys were snacking on, chips. We had a bit of a brief chip talk. With you guys spending a week in the studio, are there any casual habits that you guys have developed over the years to try and lighten the mood or keep yourselves happy in that heavy work time?
Coffee. Yeah, coffee for the day. We just destroy coffee. Like usually, I don't know what you guys, but I'm a 1 cup, maybe 2 cup kind of guy. But at the studio, it's like 9.
Oh, you're going like Henry Rollins, like 4 full. Yeah, okay, I got
Dave
it.
Grohl.
I forget to drink water a lot of the time in the studio.
But vocal days, me and Scott go heavy on the whiskey.
Yeah.
We start feeling loose.
Yeah.
You guys were pretty loose the other day.
So good. Yesterday.
Yeah, we had fun.
And what's the go-to for the whiskey?
Usually Jameson, just because you can find it anywhere, and it's easy. We've been drinking Jameson for years, just on stage. It's like water kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Adam, our engineer, made some deadly.
Today we had some bourbon, some Basil Hayden's, delicious. But yeah, other than that, like food wise, we don't snack that much actually.
Well, I was gonna say,
not in the studio.
You're pretty busy actually in the studio.
And have things changed a lot from, when you're on the road and you're touring in the van and you're stopping at gas stations in the middle of the night, you're probably eating like shit most of the time. Are you a little more conscious of what you're putting into your bodies now that you're a few years down the road?
Big time. We're more conscious all around. Big time.
Yeah.
Like we're not young bucks anymore. Yeah. Like I remember. I hope you don't mind me saying this. But like we would go so hard. Like that's just what it is. We would go so hard. We'd drink all night. We'd stay up forever. And then the next day I'd be driving fairly hungover, but like doing it, very concentrated. Scott's sleeping on the floor of the van. Anywhere he could. If there was a floor space, he was down there.
Get horizontal.
Anytime
you can.
Yeah. It's like that's just how we lived. It was just you're either hungover or you're sleeping, and then you're playing
hours spent horizontal.
Yeah. Now we can't do that. We know our bodies a lot better.
Yeah. We try to take care of our bodies.
And our shows are so much better for it too. We have so much more to give, so much more energy.
Yeah. So how do you get at the point now where just the way the shows are so energetic, and I'm sure people just want to drink with you guys after the show. Have you got a routine? Have you got something kind of planned that you can say to people? No, we got a show the next day. How do you handle those situations?
Just no.
Yeah.
Just sometimes no.
And again, did that become easier to do as time went along?
Yes, because again, we were yes men.
Yeah. Right.
It was easy even if you were sick and someone's like, "Let's go have a drink," and you're like, "Come on, let's have one." You're like,
"Okay,
yeah, let's go." Yeah. Now it's just like I'm not feeling it. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, you can go and sleep on the bus now. Before too, it was like we'd get a hotel room in Europe somewhere, and there's only one key, so one person can't go and fall asleep while the other 3 go out because there's only one key. So everyone's got to go out, and then or everyone's got to stay in. And it was just like we had to kind of do everything together. And now that it's not just us 4 and we're on a bus and we have like a crew as well. Usually like every night, 2-3, couple people go out and have some drinks after, a couple people stay back and chill out. Some people go to bed, and it just kind of rotates all the time.
Sometimes we all go out. Sometimes none of us go out. Sometimes it's sometimes it's the other.
Yeah.
As we approach those months and weeks when we can finally, see bands like yourselves touring again, you guys have talked a lot about the relationship between bands and kind of that business transaction of buying tickets and not getting ripped off constantly. Do you think that anything's going to change post-pandemic? Nate's shaking his head. Wonderful.
I don't.
In terms of reselling,
reselling will just happen.
Exactly.
They're like the people that are selling your tickets for you are the ones that are buying them up and then reselling them for ridiculous prices.
It's weird. Yeah.
It's so stupid. So you will purposely go out and set your ticket for $15, $20, $25, reasonable. And they will make sure that they buy up enough tickets that they can resell for $200, $150. It's just crazy.
Is there obviously you've thought about it a lot. Is there anything you can think of that could maybe remedy it going into the future?
Yeah. You got to go back to the old school days where you just sell your tickets at the box office. That's kind of the only thing I can actually
Which
think
is
of.
like,
The other thing
one of
too-
the only things that anyone's been thinking of or talking about for what, 5 years now, is going back to the box office.
Yeah. Other thing too, we always try to tell people to buy the tickets directly from our website, because you're always going to get the proper price on our website. If you just Google Dead South tickets on this date, the first 5 results you'll see is going to be these companies that buy them up and resell them. But if you just go to the deadsouth.com and buy tickets there, you won't get ripped off.
Yeah.
So
they might be sold out.
Yeah.
But you at least
Yeah.
have a chance at getting a regular price ticket.
Good advice.
Yeah. That's the best chance.
Would you guys look into the NFT craze that's going on right now? Have you guys talked about that as a band and what if that works for you?
I don't really know
thinking
anything
about
about
it.
it, but
Yeah.
I have talked to our manager, and he said that they're trying to learn about it right now.
Yeah.
But I can't really say much more about it than that.
Yeah, because it's tough. Because is that a fad?
Right.
Will that just go away, or
Well, and is it going to work?
do you just go?
Is it going to work for the regular consumer?
Yeah.
Because I'm the same as you,
Right.
Scott. Like I've had it explained to me probably about 10 times, and I still just can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I have a friend in the music, like the Saskatchewan music scene, he's really into that world. He's into the crypto stuff, and he's like a computer programming guy. And he really believes that it's going to be the way of the future in terms of how artists distribute things. But yeah, he's explained it to me a couple times too, and I think I kind of got a grasp on it, but it's still pretty nebulous.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna have to wait and see kind of how and if the industry really changes along with this NFT thing, or if it's just gonna like be a flash in the pan.
If we've been anything over the years, it's been adaptable, so I'm confident we're gonna figure it out if that's the direction things going.
If it doesn't pan out, you can just sell a lock of Scott's luscious hair, and
There you go.
there's your collector's item right there.
There's your NFT.
I cut off a lock when we first started, so this is I've been planning for this day.
Vintage. Cool. Well, how are you feeling, Pete?
I'm good. I can't wait to get you guys back out and in front of the crowd at Bose. It's been great. The first time I saw you guys at Bose would have been a little after that fire department show, but there was a smattering of people there, and I remember bringing a couple of friends. I'm like, you guys got to check this band out. You're gonna love it, and they did. And then the next time you guys came, it was full, sold out, packed show, and I can say beyond a shadow of a doubt, there's nothing quite like being in front of the Dead South in a sold out room.
Awesome.
I do want to ask it.
Yeah, I can't wait to get back.
Is there anything you guys have been listening to lately? Anything new that you think other people should be digging into?
Good question. Oh man.
I found out Lamb of God released an album last year. I didn't
Yeah.
know that, so I've been went deep to that for a while, and that kind of went me down the metal rabbit hole for a little while
Cool.
too. But
Royal Canoe out of Winnipeg is
Yeah.
trickling out a new album.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
It's
They're
pretty
Really
awesome.
cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of. I feel like I've listened to a lot of new stuff lately, but now that as soon as you ask the question, my mind's just totally blank.
Oh, I'm saying with
Yeah.
you.
got a Jim Croce record not long ago. I listened to that quite a bit.
I feel like
Sleaford mods. I've been listening to a lot of
Sleaford
Sleaford
mods.
mods.
You know what? Prof is a guy that I discovered
Prof,
recently.
yes.
Yeah, this hip hop guy out of Minneapolis, I think.
So
He is freaking awesome. He's like kind of goofy, not really comedy, but he's fun. He's just a funny guy.
He's clever.
Yeah, very clever and really, really good like hip hop music. So if you're into hip hop, check out Prof. That's been my favorite discovery the last little bit.
very cool. I'm gonna do that on my way home.
Yeah.
Right on.
All right.
Thank you so much for joining us, guys.
Thank you
Awesome.
guys. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll see you when you get out here.
All right.
See you guys.
There it is, the Dead South, recording new music
In
and
Kelowna.
giving us some new things to listen to.
Yes, they gave us some new tunes to check out. So
Now
check those out as well.
You always write down the name. I've noticed that every time a band has recommended something new, you always write it down. So do you 100% always go and check it out?
Not at like 100% success rate just now because I have about 18 different notebooks that I can't keep track of at home. But yes, I will eventually in the next couple of days, find that piece of paper and then go through it.
And go through it. Okay. Well, we look forward to your report next week.
My report, yes. My homework.
And I look forward to hearing what those guys are cooking up in the studio. Just fun dudes and
Plus that other project.
and the other project.
Yes, that's what I want to see. What kind of punk covers that they well, if they release it, if they plan on putting that out, I want to see what that's like, because there was a Blink 182 bluegrass covers album. Not Blink doing bluegrass, but some bluegrass band did a full album of Blink songs. You know what I'm talking about? Full album of Blink songs in bluegrass, and it is so perfect.
Well, and it's funny because bluegrass is, and it's pretty frenetic, I think, is a good way. So, I mean, that pop punk stuff goes along with it. Even like some thrash metal can turn into bluegrass pretty easy, because if you think of that drum beat, like the
some Lamb of God. Some Lamb of God.
If nobody's done a Lamb of God bluegrass album yet,
someone
just came. Did somebody?
That would be so funny. That's got to exist, actually.
I'm sure that's probably
make sure to search that up. Lamb of God bluegrass, Wall of Death. Whoa,
that's almost, is that thunder? I don't know. Did you guys hear that back there?
What is he doing?
That's my dog, and
Buster.
I think he's probably saying, "Dad, that's enough time in the studio. Let's go to the river."
All right, you're going to go throw him in?
I think he might deserve a chuck in the river. Right, buddy? Hi.
All right, well, that was The Road, The Stage. Follow us on social media at The Road, The Stage. Download, stream on your pod device or app. What podcast app do you use, by the way?
Spotify.
Okay. And then follow and subscribe and like and share from the YouTube or the Bose Barn Stage YouTube channel.
That's a big one right there. Get that subscribe going.
And in case you wanted to know, we're broadcasting from the Communal Creative Studios in Red Deer, Alberta.
Red Deer, Alberta.
With producers Ryan and Ryley.
And a big thanks to Go Services Inc., Sawback Brewing Company, Tourism Red Deer, Bose Barn Stage.
All right, see you next Wednesday. Wednesday.
The Road, The Stage is produced by Ryan Kuly and Ryley Surian. Recorded in Red Deer, Alberta, and in partnership with Bose Bar and Stage, Troubled Monk, and Tourism Red Deer. The Road, The Stage.